All right, y'all, welcome back. Welcome back to the Healing University. I am Black Angel, your instructor for tonight. So today we are going to be talking about crystals along with crystal grids. We're going to be talking about how they work, different types of crystals, how to care for them, cleanse, clear, charge, and just how to wear them and use them in our everyday lives. So I hope you all have your note-taking material so that we can make sure we capture any notes that you may want to use to make your own crystal grids, and some notes on how to, again, operate with your crystals. Okay. Also, I recommend if you have something to drink, that would be great, because when working with energy in itself, it's good to have water, because water helps the energy channel fluently through the body. So as we're going to get ready to get started, we're going to start with some grounding, connecting to the divine light. And then we are going to call in our ancestors or our spirit team, our divine support team, for guidance and protection. So at this time, I command that we are all connected to the earth vortex and the divine light vortex, allowing ourselves to be grounded from the root and connected to the divine light from the crown, Ashe. So as always, we're going to take just a little bit of time, allow these vortex energies to connect to us. It's going to bring us balance. At this time, I also command that our energies and our emotions be stabilized for our individual highest good, Ashe. Okay, now we're going to call on our divine support team. This is your spirit guides, guardians, ancestors, divine creator, all of those who support you in your divine life purpose. So I call in my divine support team for guidance and divine protection. Please and thank you, Ashe. So at this moment, you should start to feel the energies of your team coming around you. Usually a cooling sensation, tingly type of energy. So what you should be feeling as your divine support team comes to you and places divine protection and lets you know that they are present. All right, so now that everyone's in place, we're gonna get started. So the first thing we want to talk about is, how crystals work. Okay, understand that crystals come from the earth, right? They come from the earth, and because we can be grounded with the earth, we can also work with objects and parts of the earth that can be either dug up. Sometimes there are caves with certain crystals in it, and we can resonate with the vibrations of those crystals or stones. Even a simple rock that we find outside in the yard has vibrations. So it's times that you may, if you have children, you may notice that you have children that like to bring you rocks from outside. It's because children are very intuitive and they can feel the vibrations of rocks and know that those rocks have some type of healing or some type of effect that it can help us with. And so when your children brings rocks to you, don't just discard them as rocks. Those rocks are probably holding some energy that you may need for your highest good. And those kids are very empathic, so they kind of know that, without knowing that these rocks are actually good for you. Crystals and stones carry vibrations. Some vibrate really high, and those particular stones can have a very cooling effect, meaning when you touch crystals that are high vibrational, they're cold to the touch almost always, unless you're like holding them under your pillow or under your body or in your hand for a period of time. They will of course warm up. More dense stones tend to be heavier. They're still high vibrational or vibrational, but they're more dense They tend to be more warm or just kind of like room temperature. And they also may be darker in their complexion and the color of the stone, which means the lighter color stones are more high vibrational, while the darker color stones may be less vibrational. That being less vibrational doesn't make them less powerful. It just means that they target a different area, okay? So being less vibrational doesn't mean they don't work. It just means they target a different area, okay? So let's go over the type of stones that you can come across. I'm gonna go ahead and switch my camera over to my webcam over here so we can see the crystal stones that I have laid out for us today. Okay, so here's a good set of crystals that I've placed out, and we're going to talk about some different types. Okay, you have crystals that come in the raw form. The raw form means they have not been altered. For example, this is a rhodonite, and the color of this is like a really, really light pink and black, but it's a raw crystal. It has not been tampered. It comes out the earth just as is. Another example would be like this rose quartz, which is also same thing. It comes out the earth as is. But then you can have some stones and crystals that get tumbled. They go into this machine that looks like a little small washing machine or a small dryer. And then the rocks are tumbled until they become smooth process, okay? So there's some stones and crystals you may be drawn to in its raw form, and there may be times to use it in its tumbled form. Either way, they both work, but some people find that the raw stones seem to work better because they have not been tampered with. But always go with your intuition and you know, go from there, okay? So you have some stones that are more lighter, even if they're darker, they're not as dense. Like this is petrified wood. And this stone is really, really light, just like wood. It's really, really light. But then you have a stone like black tourmaline that's really, really heavy, right? It's really, really heavy. So different stones will have different type of densities based on what part of the earth they come from. Now, you have stones and crystals that are water soluble, meaning if you place these particular crystals in water, they will start to dissolve. An example of a crystal like that would be like selenite. Selenite, very high vibrational crystal, but will melt in water. Now, if you put it directly in the water, it's not going to melt right away. As a matter of fact, I like to put selenite and run it under water while using my hand or my fingers to smooth it out. And then it becomes very shiny and very pretty. Without it being ran under water to be smoothed out, it's very flaky. So I also like to run it under water and again, smooth it out so that the flakes won't come off so easily. And it looks very, very nice when you do that. Very shiny, very translucent. It's beautiful. Okay, you have some stones and crystals that are very flaky, and it's unusual to find them tumbled. So an example of that would be kyanite. Kyanite is a blue and white crystal that's very flaky. You can almost take your fingers and flake it and it'll come right on off. Same thing with stones like pyrite. So people call this fool's gold. It is also a very flaky type of stone. So what I like to do with the stones that are flaky, I like to take an old toothbrush and just kind of brush them off with the toothbrush to get all the flakes and powder, you know, off of them so they can I can then use them for what I want to use them for. So anytime you're like dealing with these, you just want to be really careful not to bump them into stuff so that they don't break apart. Pyrite is pretty easy to break apart because of the way it's flaked together. But the same thing with kyanite. When wrapping kyanite, making crystal jewelry, it is definitely one I have to be careful with because it will flake, it will chip, and it can break. Okay, so those are just some different types of stones, okay? Now, you can also find stones and crystals in different shapes, and they can be used for different things. For an example, here is a tiger's eye right here in the center. This is the tiger's eye, but it's shaped like a pyramid. So when I place this tiger eye on top of, let's say I want to place it on my solar plexus or sacral chakra, because it's going upward in a pyramid, tiger's eye will actually pull energies from underneath through the top of it to remove energies that might be in that space that needs to be gone. And similarly, you can take a pyramid-shaped crystal and place it underneath you. Let's say you take this and place it underneath your chair. Now you have all this tiger's eye energy coming into your root chakra and working its way up. Now, even a pyramid this small is very, very powerful. So size, in this case, doesn't always matter. This little bitty pyramid can do wonders. So I would recommend you getting one, maybe one like a rose quartz, maybe one of a black stone, like a black onyx, or just whatever you feel led to get you a pyramid so that you can place it under a chair and allow it to cleanse your energy. Again, very powerful. Okay, we have a lot of crystals that are altered for the sake of wear. For example, you have a Labradorite. This Labradorite has been shaped and designed with a bead hole so that it can be worn. Just because the stones or the crystals have been altered does not mean that they lose their power. So you don't have to worry about that too much, okay? But there are stores that will sell crystals and stones for them to be worn on a necklace or be wrapped with copper wire, which I'll be showing that in a little bit. Now, before we get deeper into the crystals, let's talk about cleansing our crystals, cleansing them. Now, one way to cleanse your crystals, a very easy way, is to use other crystals and stones that has those properties. So this particular bowl is a selenite bowl. Now, selenite is one of those crystals that I recommend for all readers and healers. I recommend all readers and healers get selenite because selenite is a very high vibrational crystal, if not the highest. And what it does is it can be used to actually cleanse negative energy by overwhelming the space with positive energy. Selenite can also be used to cleanse and purify all of the chakras. And it can be also used in meditation and connecting to your higher angels. Selenite is also good to cleanse the aura. Taking a wand just like this, going over your body, front and back, and on the sides with the wand, you can cleanse your entire aura with that. So if you're like a Reiki practitioner, for example, you can use this on your clients, going up and down their aura to cleanse their aura of any negative energy that may be attached to them. Some people also use selenite for cord cutting, where they have the selenite shaped in such a way that it's flat, and then they use it to cut cords. Now, when we do cords in the energetic healing course here, we won't be talking about cutting cords, we'll be talking about how to pull them because we don't want the remnants of those cords to be left. But again, some people use it for that. So take a selenite bowl, let's say, take the crystals that you want to cleanse, and you put them in a selenite bowl and you let the selenite do its work. Let the selenite do its work. Now, there are other crystals that can help recharge crystals, right? So while the selenite can cleanse, there's at least two other crystals that I know of that you can use to recharge those crystals. Because just like us, we need recharging. Our bodies get tired, get worn out, we deplete energy. The crystals do the same thing. They deplete energy and they need to be recharged and rejuvenated. They also absorb sometimes other people's energies that may be near the crystals, or your own energies depending on what you're using it for. So it's important to keep them cleansed. Another way to cleanse them can be running them underwater. Now, of course, you don't want to run the crystals that that are soluble under the water, but you want to run the ones that are more solid and they're not going to melt away. but the water will cleanse crystals, just like when we bathe and we cleanse with water, same thing with your crystals. So you can treat your crystals just like you can treat yourself. In some cases, you can even use Dawn soap, dish soap, to cleanse crystals as well, because they get dirty, and Dawn soap, dish soap is safe for just like it's safe for cleaning dogs, from fleas. It also is really safe for your crystals as well. Okay. Okay, another way to cleanse crystals will be using sage. You would light your sage, and you would either use a fan to send the smoke to the crystals to cleanse them, or you can blow the sage smoke onto the crystals with the intentions of cleansing them, because especially California white sage, it has the ability to bring positive energy. So when you blow the smoke and overwhelm the crystal with that smoke, it basically cancels out the negative energy and brings the positive energy back into the crystal. Okay. Okay, so charging the crystals, right? Charging the crystals, you can use different modalities and techniques. For example, if I took a citrine crystal, a citrine crystal is known as the abundance crystal. It also is known as a feel-good crystal, and it has the ability to charge other stones and crystals. So think about it. If it's known as a feel-good crystal, then placing it next to the other crystals and stones helps the other crystals and stones also feel good, therefore raising their vibrations. So anytime you have a group of crystals together, you can always place one piece of citrine with them so that it can work in charging. Another crystal that's really, really good for charging crystals and stones will be Carnelian Stone. Carnelian Stone. This is carnelian in its raw form. Okay. And here we go. And this is carnelian in its tumbled form. Carnelian is used for fertility. It's also used to cleanse the blood. It's good for the womb and prostate. It's also good for the sacral chakra. And then there's, of course, a whole lot of more properties to it, but those are some of the main ones. So again, you can take a nice piece of carnelian crystal, placing it with the other crystals and stones, and it will recharge. So carnelian and citrine are going to be self-charging crystals. These are crystals that charge themselves, therefore they can charge others. Selenite is also a self-cleansing type of crystal. You don't have to cleanse selenite. You don't have to charge selenite. It always stays charged and cleansed. But if you wanted to charge just for peace of mind, you would put selenite in the sun. Okay, still going back to charging. Another way you can charge would be like using Reiki. So if you are at least a Reiki 2 practitioner, you can use Choku-Rei, where you draw Choku-Rei over the crystals, and then it brings recharging to those set of crystals. You can balance the energies of those crystals, also using the Seihei emotional healing symbol. And you just draw the Seihei right over the crystals and push the symbol into the crystals, and it will bring balance to those crystals as well. Now, if you're really sensitive to energy, you can sometimes even feel the shift happening in those crystals, especially if you have a high clairsentience type of spiritual gift. Now, some crystals and stones have to be cleansed in a form of discharging, meaning they absorb energy, and then you have to dispel the energy from that stone before they crack. So for example, this is a Smoky Quartz. Okay, this is a Smoky Quartz. I had a Smoky Quartz that I used for a crystal grid for protection. But what I did, I forgot to dispel the energy from it after so much time, because the crystal can only hold so much. So what ended up happening was the crystal ended up cracking right through the middle, basically saying, hey, I'm done. There's no more I can do. So before your crystals get to the stage where they crack, you want to take a crystal like this. Most of your black stones is going to be stones that absorb. And you want to place them out in a selenite bowl with the intentions of discharging and cleansing them. You can also place them in a bowl of sea salt. And the sea salt will absorb the energy from the crystal so that it's drained, and then it can be ready to absorb negative energy again. Another stone that you want to do that with is black obsidian. This is black obsidian in its raw form. This is another one that likes to absorb negative energy. But if it absorbs too much, just like the other one, it will crack. And in those cases, when it's cracked, there's not much you can do with it, but bury it back in the earth and return it where it belongs. Okay. Now let's go over some different crystals and stones that you can use and some reasons you can use them for. Okay, we're gonna put this to the side. Okay, so the first set of crystals I wanna go over is going to be chakra crystals. Those are very popular. A lot of people like to get them a set of chakra healing stones. You usually can find them almost anywhere. You can definitely find them with me. I have packs that if you're interested. The chakra stone packs usually is going to go in line with the colors of each chakra. Here we have like red jasper, red dealing with the root chakra. We have orange calcite dealing with the sacral. We have yellow calcite dealing with the solar plexus. Green aventurine for the heart chakra. Lapis lazuli for the throat chakra. Lepidolite, I believe that's how it's pronounced. This is for the third eye. And then we have amethyst, which is great for the crown chakra. Now, there are other stones and crystals that can work with any chakra. For example, black tourmaline can be used to purify any of the chakras. So, selenite can be used to purify any of the chakras. So these are more so cleansing and purification. But if you want to use for a particular chakra, the black stone would also be good for the root because the black stones help with grounding. And then your selenite will be good for the crown chakra or the higher crown chakra because of its high vibration. So sometimes these can be interchangeable. If I don't have an amethyst, I can replace it with selenite. Okay. If I don't have lapis, I can replace it with sodalite. So these chakra stones doesn't have to be the exact ones that you see here. You can take any stones that's the same color of those that particular chakra, and you can replace it with that stone. Okay, you got clear quartz that can also be used in any chakra. But I would mainly use clear quartz for maybe the crown. But if you're missing a chakra stone, I can take the clear quartz, I can speak into the clear quartz, programming it to work as a crystal for my sacral chakra. So the clear quartz is a very high vibrational crystal similar to selenite. The nickname of the clear quartz is the master healer, the master healer. Clear quartz can be used for healing in all forms, and it can be used to amplify intentions. There's something very important to know when it comes to working with clear quartz. In amplifying its intentions, that means you have to be in a high vibrational state when using clear quartz. In my experience, when I have worn clear quartz as a pendant and I was in a bad mood, I noticed my chest would start to hurt a little bit because the clear quartz was amplifying my bad mood. So you want to make sure you're in a high vibrational state when using this particular crystal. Okay. Okay, the next crystal that's really good to have is an amethyst. And of course, amethyst, just like all other crystals, they come in many different forms. Amethyst is a crystal that's good for protection from entities. I need the healers and the readers to definitely know this. Amethyst protects you from negative entities. Now, there's another entity that it really protects you from, and those are the energy vampire type of entities. Some people call them incubus, some call succubus, some call sex demons. They're pretty much all the same, just have different names. But energy vampire type of spirits, amethyst will protect you from those entities attaching to you. So when you're doing your sessions, whether it's on other people or on yourself, you definitely want to have amethyst with you. Amethyst is very good for children. So if you have children, it's good to place amethyst either under their pillow, or you can place it at least on their nightstand or just next to them, so that the amethyst can protect them in their dreams, because kids tend to be very vulnerable, especially gifted kids, right? So you want to keep amethyst near them for protection while they sleep. Amethyst is also great for addictions. If you have someone who's struggling with addiction, especially alcoholism, have them carry amethyst to help them wean off the addiction. If somebody is having issues with their eyesight, staring into the amethyst can improve the vision, can improve their eye vision. So amethyst can be known sometimes as an overall healer crystal, can heal pretty much almost anything. So it's definitely something I recommend most healers and readers to keep with them. Now, when you look at the different forms, when you have a regular amethyst, kind of like this, tumbled, it's not going to be able to spread but so far. Each crystal has its own aura, its own energy field. So it can only go out so far. So if this crystal is not right up on you or right next to you, you may not get the benefit from its energy. So if you took a crystal like this and you place it on the other side of the room, it won't do you any justice. You got to make sure that you're within the aura of that particular crystal for it to work. Now, good crystals to have that spread out very far would be ones that are like clusters. If you look at this crystal, it has a lot of points on it. And when you place it, those points shoot out all those different directions, allowing the amethyst to have a further distance of healing and protection. Now, the other beauty that's good with crystals that are shaped like this, they're called clusters, right? Is that you can take a cluster and you can place another stone on top of that cluster to cleanse it. Now, this is a small one, so it won't probably be able to hold it. So in this case, I would just lay it in front of it. I would take the cluster crystal, and then I would place the crystal in front of it that I want cleansed. Because of all the points on this amethyst cluster, it's shooting energy every which way. It'll be actually knocking off the energy on the crystal that you place in front of it. So that's a good way that you can use cluster crystals like this. And it can be cluster crystals that are citrine or clear quartz or other type of clusters. They're really good for cleansing other crystals and stones as well. Now, this particular crystal I like to use on my desk when I do services. I like to point it directly towards me. So that way, as I'm doing my work, I'm receiving the benefits of the amethyst healing and protection. Okay, that's amethyst. All right, another good crystal to work with is going to be rose quartz. This is in a tumble and raw form. It's a light pink. Rose quartz is great for healing, even in the physical body, but it's known as like the lover stone. Now, some people get it misconstrued with rose quartz. When we see rose quartz, we think it's gonna give love to me. It's gonna attract love to me. I'm gonna have somebody come and fall in love with me. Rose quartz works from the inside out, meaning the rose quartz actually works with your own heart chakra by healing you from grief, healing you from heartache and heartbreak, and then teaching you how to have self-love. And then the more self-love you have for yourself, the more love you attract towards you from others. So again, the way the rose quartz work is by healing your heart, showing you how to love yourself, so then you can attract others who will love you the way you love you. So when using rose quartz, I like to sometimes sleep with it. I place it on my chest, on my heart chakra, just let it sit there. And sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and it's all throughout the covers. But if you know you're going through some heartbreak and heartache, take the rose quartz, place it on your chest when you're going to bed, or you can simply just place it next to you while sleeping and let it do its job. Rose quartz is, again, really good for healing in the physical body. Because it's very light, it can sometimes work just like a clear quartz with the addition of unconditional love energy. Okay, so that's rose quartz. Okay, let's get into another one called Kyanite. Showed this one earlier. Kyanite is a really flaky type of crystal. It's a blue, light blue and white. This particular stone is good to cleanse all the chakras. It's good for cleansing the chakras, and it's good for cleansing the aura, your energy fields. It's a very powerful stone. You don't have to have a large one for it to do its job. Even a small piece of this works very, very well. But because it's so flaky, you just have to be really careful with it because you know, it can leave like little chips behind. So if you use it, especially if you use it on your body, I just recommend making sure you place maybe a paper towel or something under it to catch all the flakes in case that happens. Okay, that's kyanite. Okay, one of my favorites is tiger's eye. This is a form of tiger's eye. This is another form of tiger's eye. Now, tiger's eye is a masculine stone, masculine crystal. It's good for the lower chakras, from the solar plexus and below. And it's definitely great for men or young boys to help them heal their divine masculine. Anytime I have clients come to me about their male counterparts or their sons, I usually always recommend tiger's eye, and they always come back with great results, saying how calm and relaxed and focused their loved one has become since wearing it. Because again, it helps them heal the wounded masculine so they can operate in their divine masculine. So it also helps with, well, let me go back and say something else. This is not just good for men. It can also be good for women who has a wounded masculine as well. It can also be good for women who are in business and who have jobs, who work, because tiger's eye also is good for abundance. It's good for creativity. And it's great for grounding and can be used for protection. So even if you're a gal, yeah, I said gal from Texas, you can even use tiger's eye for you as well. This is definitely one of my favorite. So I do recommend practitioners to have tiger's eye in their camp. Okay. All right. Let's get into another one of my favorites. This is called pyrite. Pyrite, also known as fool's gold. Pyrite can be used for protection, for grounding, and prosperity. I have created these stones for individuals, wrap them in wire and put them on a necklace. Very great results. I actually wear one of these myself. I also wear a tiger's eye as well. So pyrite would be a very good stone to have for prosperity and abundance. Okay, so for those who are speakers, those who like to speak and teach, be on camera, blue lace agate. Blue lace agate. This is known as a communicator stone. Blue lace agate. Agate stones, you'll notice they have like a bunch of bands going across them, and they can come in different colors. Right, here's a darker blue lace agate or blue agate. So blue lace agate is good for the throat chakra. It helps you with your speech, helps with public speaking, and it helps with speaking your truth. So blue lace agate is definitely something I recommend for those who teach, those who maybe you do readings on video, YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and other apps. Blue lace agate would definitely help you get the words out that you need and speak your truth. Okay, the next one we're going to go into is called Sodalite. Sodalite is a stone that is great for studying for students. So sometimes it's called a student stone. So if you're someone trying to learn, whether it's through college, high school, or even learning through Hiller University with me, Black Angel, the Sodalite crystal can help you with retaining the knowledge and information. It also helps with the third eye chakra, which is your chakra that deals with your imagination and your visions and your dreams. So you can see by helping the third eye chakra, it can help you retain the information that you need for test taking. So anytime I've had people come to me, let's say you want to take the nursing test, for example, I've had a few students for that. I made them a Sodalite pendant, and then I did Reiki along with it, with them to help them prepare for their test, and got great results. So again, student stone studying, maybe you have a child that's having trouble with test taking, get them a Sodalite stone, and that'll help them with test anxiety. Okay, we're going to go into black tourmaline. Black tourmaline, very popular stone. One that I do recommend for healers and just pretty much anybody, but definitely for those who are healers and readers. So black tourmaline works a little bit different than other stones like black obsidian. So black will absorb and then you have to discharge it, right? But what the black tourmaline does is it takes the negative energy and it transmutes it to positive energy and sends it back out. So again, the negative energy hits it, then it's transmuted to positivity and then released back out. Black tourmaline I also found works best when it's warm. So if you take black tourmaline, place it in your hand, let it get warm, let it get hot, or place it in the sun, that's when it works its best. Same thing with black obsidian. You can also recharge it also in the sun. The black stones tend to work best charged in the sun, mainly because they're masculine stones, and the sun is a masculine energy. Yeah, so black tourmaline, definitely good to have. Again, just like I said earlier, black tourmaline can also purify, meaning it can purify the chakras. If you want to purify your aura, you will place multiple black tourmalines on the ground in a circle, and you would stand or sit inside of the circle. And in sitting inside of that circle, the black tourmaline will start to cleanse your aura. Okay. So we also have smoky quartz. Okay. You have smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is basically a clear quartz filled with black. Most smoky quartz are not this dark, but this one just happened to be really, really, really. But you can see the clear part down here at the bottom. Smoky quartz is good for protection and emotional healing. It's great for emotional healing. Now, smoky quartz, because it's so great for emotional healing, you want to work with it in like sessions. You want to work with it in increments, because it can bring so many emotions out if you just continuously wear it over a long period of time, that it may have your vibrations drop a little bit too low, and you don't want to get stuck in low vibrating emotions and feelings. But when you need to access your emotions so that you can heal them, it's good to meditate and sit with smoky quartz to do so. Again, it is a protective crystal, and after absorbing so much negative energy, it will crack. Sometimes it will also crack when it's blocking some sort of spiritual attack as well. Okay, the next crystal is one of my favorite, and it is Labradorite. I absolutely love Labradorite. One of the reasons why I've started to love Labradorite is because when I had a brain injury from Iraq, this particular stone is one that actually helps heal the brain. So I would carry it with me all the time, and it has done wonders for me. Labradorite has this rainbow tint when you flick it in the light. It is good for empaths. If you're an empath, Labradorite is a very good stone crystal to have. It actually blocks other people's projections that are towards you. So when people are projecting their negative emotions and feelings towards you, Labradorite will protect you from that. Labradorite also protects you from being drained by other people. And most of y'all watching this video, you're an empath, and I'm sure you can relate to getting around certain individuals and just feeling super tired. So Labradorite will actually protect people from siphoning your energy, from sucking your energy dry. Labradorite also helps connect to your divine ancestors and spirit guides and angels. So even though it's a darker complected crystal, it is very high vibrational. So I always keep a Labradorite on me at all times. Most of the time I just keep it in my pocket, or if I'm out and about, I may just even have one in my hand. Because when I'm out in public, people can tend to latch onto your energy, so you want to be protected. I also noticed that Labradorite works really well when I'm doing readings. So if you do card readings, intuitive readings, Labradorite works really, really well for that. Okay, the next crystal I want to talk about is moonstone. Moonstone is a divine feminine type of crystal. Moonstone helps with the divine feminine. It helps connect you to the moon. And it's great for divination. So if you're a gal who does readings, or a guy, because divine feminine energies is in both male and female, right? To include non-binary as well. You want to have some moonstone that helps you with your readings, helps you connect to the divine, to the feminine. Also helps with your upper chakras. So that'd be the chakras above the heart chakra, which would be throat, third eye, crown chakra. So you have moonstone, and you also have rainbow moonstone. They both work pretty much all the same. Okay, the next one is Petrified Wood. Okay, this is a tumbled version. The raw version looks pretty much like a piece of wood, but pretty dark color, just like this one. Petrified Wood is good for grounding, extreme grounding. Like it's a really, really strong grounding stone. Now this particular stone, what I like it for though, is being able to access memories. So when you're not sure or familiar, can't remember what happened, and it's something that you need to remember because, maybe it's something for court, or maybe it's something for a test, or maybe something for whatever it is in your personal life, the petrified wood will help you access those memories that you need to see, mainly the ones you might have blocked out. Okay. Okay. So for now, that's all we're going to cover as far as crystals and different ones that you can use. And we're going to move forward into how to then use these as a crystal grid, or not, I'm sorry, how to wear them. So again, you can take a group of crystals and you can put them in a pouch. This is actually my little blue pouch that I carry around. Now it's kind of big, and I put quite a bit of crystals in there. So it's kind of hard to fit in the pocket, but I'll just kind of carry it around, put it in the car. And I definitely sleep with this bag next to me with the crystals that I have chosen to use for the night. Okay. You can also have smaller pouches like so. So this bag, I usually put all the chakra stones in, and it can be used for that. Now, some women, I've met many women who like to put crystals in a bag like this or something and place them in their bra. Okay, just putting that out there. A lot of women like to do that. Okay, fellas, I don't know if we got a spot to put them other than our pocket, so we'll just leave it at that. All right. Okay, you can also wear pendants as crystals as a pendant. For example, this is a clear quartz wrapped in copper wire. When you wrap your crystals in copper wire, the copper helps to keep you grounded, keep the crystal grounded, and it also amplifies its energy. So you can wrap crystals and actually wear them. Now these I'm showing you, I did create myself. This is a blue calcite. It's another clear quartz. Here's a pyrite. Here's a rose quartz. And here's a moonstone. So quick plug, if anybody interested in some crystal jewelry, you can always go to bookingwithbaba.com. Send me an email and I'll create something nice for you. Or you can choose one of the pendants that I'll be having listed on there. Okay. Okay, now let's get into using crystals to channel energy and then using them to charge and activate crystal grids. So one of the ways we can use crystals to channel energy is crystals that have points on the ends, right? So this is a clear quartz. It has a point, and it can be used to send energy in a direct location or a broad location. So if I took my hand and I took this crystal point, if I do a clockwise motion, it'll send the energy forward. And I'll be able to feel the energy in my hand, making the circular motions that I'm doing with the crystal. If I wanted to pull energy, I would go counterclockwise. And instead of sending energy through my hand, it'd be pulling energy from my hand. So to be able to do this, you can have any crystal that has a point and it will do the same thing. You can use your intentions, like this is a clear quartz. So if I told this clear quartz that I want to push healing energy into the directed location, I would speak into the clear quartz, giving it that program, and then I would go clockwise, and then I will start to feel the tingling sensations and other sensations going to the parts of my hand that need it, And because you are sending energy out, the energy just doesn't always go direct. Sometimes the energy goes outward like a shotgun blast. So you might feel it on your body, you know, in other places as well. So even a crystal this small can be used like a wand, especially if you're doing precision healing. Let's say if it's a certain spot on the body, maybe someone has an issue going on with their wrist. You can take something small like this, you can go clockwise to push the energy, healing energy in, or you can go counterclockwise with the intentions of pulling the negative energy out of that particular area. Because negative energy makes pain worse, it's good to pull that energy out as well. And when we get into the energetic healing part, we're definitely going to go over different techniques on how to use the crystals for healing and cleansing. Another thing you can do with the crystals and place them on a wand. This was the very first crystal wand I ever created about 3 or 4 years ago. I took a large crystal quartz and I placed it on a stick, and then I wrapped it in fabric. Then I wrapped it in copper wire to amplify it. Now, because this is a pretty large crystal, when I use it, it actually can cover the entire torso of a person. That's how wide the energy will tend to spread. I also notice when using this, I get a lot of heat coming back towards me when I'm using it. So this wand, the wood, helps conduct the energy from your hand through the wood and then out through the crystal itself. So you can always use crystals again to channel energy into spaces, people, places, things to do its job. Okay, you can also use crystals in the form of bracelets. Okay, these are bracelets I have created for different purposes. Now, let me show you something real cool that you can do with a bracelet. So in a crystal grid, which we're going to get into, you can place at least 3 or more crystals in a circle to create a grid. And then you can have your central crystal inside. You need 3 or more crystals to create a grid and 1 inside. Well, your bracelet can be used the same way. This bracelet is with amethyst and hematite. And so I can actually place this bracelet on the table, place a crystal in the middle, and then activate it as a crystal grid as well. Just something just showing like different ways that you can use your materials, your crystals, your tools. Now, I would only probably do this if I was doing something temporarily, like if I was doing a session and I wanted to create a crystal grid real quick to help myself or help the client during the session. This is something I can just do really quickly. And then when I'm done, take it off, put it back on my wrist, we're good to go. So crystal grids, again, you need at least 3 or more crystals on the outside with 1 crystal inside. Now you're going to hear me talk about, say things like this during the course, which is, it doesn't have to be cute, it just have to work. It does not have to be cute, it just got to work, right? So you don't have to have pretty crystals, they don't have to look a certain way, they just have to have the intentions and, you know, what those crystals are being used for. So let's say we are creating a crystal grid for self-love. Starting with the outside, I'm going to use quartz. I'm going to use 3 different quartz. And then in the inside, I'm going to use rose quartz. Now to activate a crystal grid, you can do one way, would be like with Reiki. If you're Reiki 2 certified, you could use Chakra, starting at the outside of the grid. You're coming down, and as you go to make your inner circles on the Chakra symbol, you're going inward towards the crystal in the middle. And then you can tap it 3 times, and that activates the crystal grid. So another way is using a wand. This is a selenite wand, a selenite stick, same thing. Either I can use Choku, or if you're not Reiki certified, you can simply do a counterclockwise motion, starting from the outside and then going inward to the center crystal. When you are doing these circular motions, what you're doing, you're connecting all of the crystals together all the way to the center to create a grid so that they all, the crystals interchange with each other. Okay, another way that you can activate is using the crystal wand. Where again, your circular motions with the intentions of activating. Sometimes when I do my activations, I just simply say activate 3 times. So I do my circles, activate, 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 and boom, it's done. I can start to feel its energy. Now some crystal grids are going to be simple as this. And some of them are going to be very elaborate. All right, here's an example of crystal grid. It's a little bit more in depth. Okay, this particular grid was designed for spiritual protection, So the center crystal is going to be Amethyst. And then I have some Carnelian that recharges, have Labradorite, which is good for protection against people draining your energies. We have hematite, that's good for grounding and protection. And then on the outside, we have clear quartz, which amplifies the energy of the entire grid. Now, remember I talked about the aura of a grid or of a crystal. This particular aura of this crystal grid, it actually goes outward very far. When I did a measurement using my dowsing rods, it went out up to almost 50 feet, meaning being 50 feet within this crystal grid, you are protected. So sometimes you will want to make bigger grids for the sake of pushing out more energy. One of my goals is to actually make a crystal grid on a wall, like make an entire big crystal grid on the side of a wall. That's one of my goals. I can't wait till I do that. Okay, all right. Now let's go to talk about using crystals as an empath. My recommendation is using clear quartz. Okay, using clear quartz. And I also recommend rose quartz. I've also used tiger's eye. I've used amethyst, and I've used labradorite. Now let's talk about how to use these crystals when you're an empath. Okay, you want to place at least one crystal in each hand. So I'm going to place clear quartz in one hand, and I'm going to go with rose quartz in the other hand. Once the crystal is in your hand and you close your hand, you want to imagine the energies of both crystals going upward towards your crown chakra. Again, you want to imagine the energy going up your arms all the way until the energy is felt in your crown chakra. Once you feel the energy in the crown chakra, at that point, you can completely let go and let the crystals do the rest. What's going to happen is the crystal energy will slowly start making its way down your physical body until the energy comes out the bottom of your feet. So what this is doing is actually clearing you from energies that you have absorbed. This is the technique I actually learned in a dream, where there's an angel who came to me and she taught me step by step, this is how you do it. And so before going to bed, I would always lay in the bed, I would place a crystal in each hand, allow it to do its thing, and then I would go ahead and go to sleep because now I'm cleared. So this is a great technique that you can also use for your clients. So let's say someone comes in and they want to do a session with you, or you go to them, take you some crystals with you, have them hold a crystal in each hand while you work on them. So as you're doing your Reiki or whatever healing modalities, they can also be getting cleansed and cleared by the crystals in their hands as well. So it helps you from using so much energy, and we allow the crystals to do their job. Okay, now let's go back to working with your crystals again. So when you get ready to work with your crystals, whether it's a crystal grid, whether it's using it in client's hand or your own, you put those crystals to work, they got to be cleansed, cleared, and recharged like we talked about earlier. Now, if you are someone who works with energy, you can use your own energy to cleanse, clear, and recharge crystals. Remember, these crystals and these stones, they have vibrations just like us. And our words are very powerful. We can speak into the crystals to bring them healing, cleansing, and recharging. So if I want to cleanse these particular crystals, I may speak into them by saying, let these crystals be cleansed, cleared, and recharged to their maximum abilities. Ashe. And then in my hand, I feel my hands getting a little cool, a little tingly, which means the crystals are being cleansed, cleared, and recharged. You can also place them in both hands just like so. And again, speak your mantra, affirmation, or prayer into the crystals of what you want them to do. You can cleanse them by blowing on them. So you can speak as in, let these crystals be cleansed. And when you blow, it blows off the negative energy and any other away from the crystals. So even blowing on them works really, really well. So if you're working with your crystals and you're going to be working with them with the next client, and you don't have another set that you can go to, cleanse your crystals using your intentions, and then they'll be ready for the client for you to use them. And you also want to do it before you store them anyway. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the other camera. All right. So that's all the crystals and information we're going to cover for today. As we get deeper into the course, though, we're going to be using crystals more. So this introduction is to kind of get you a little bit of understanding on what crystals are, how they're used, what they feel like. You want to practice feeling your crystals so you can feel the different vibrations. And the way you can do that is, okay, let's say I take a Labradorite and I place them in my hand and I say, okay, all right, Labradorite, let me feel your energy. And then you allow your body to feel what the Labradorite energy feels like. And then you can do it with another crystal, right? Take rose quartz and access rose quartz to let me feel your energy. Then I can feel the rose quartz energy. So practice feeling the different vibrations of the different type of crystals and stones so you can be familiar with them. When you get familiar with them, it's easy for you to be able to, for spirit to be able to tell you which crystal you might need to use for whatever that you're doing, because your body will be familiar with that crystal. Another thing, crystals, they can also be used for like massage therapy. So like if anybody does massage, like this is a smooth selenite shaped like a heart. It has like a little bit of a point on the edge, and it's really, really smooth on the wide surface. So a crystal like this could be used on its side, on this, it's not really sharp, it just comes to a point. And you can use it for like myofascial massage, where you're like kind of scraping the muscle, right? To get it to break up between the skin and the, different layers. And then you can also use the smooth side to also use it for massage as well. You can even use like essential oils and stuff like that to use it with, okay? You can also take crystals and sit them on different points of the body that may be in some kind of pain. So again, if somebody was having some shoulder pain, you can take a clear quartz and you can lay them down, sit on their shoulder, speaking into the clear quartz that's in healing throughout their shoulder, right? Or other different parts of the body. I've even seen people use healing crystals on their belly button because, the belly button has all these different, hundreds of different connections to the body. So some people would even put them there to allow the crystals to send healing throughout their entire being, their entire body. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and end here. And again, in the future classes, we are going to definitely be using crystals more in our healing modalities. Okay. I will see y'all next time in the next class. Have a good one. Ashe.